Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Scenes. You are on Hefsel Times. Today we are gladly welcoming Adanur Nas for our new episode. Adanur's challenging journey from Diyarbakır Bahçeşehir Science and Technology High School to Columbia started to bloom with her deep commitment to improving the lives of the hearing impaired community. Winning the Rice Scholarship Program in 2022, she developed an innovative multilingual app that helps individuals with hearing impairments communicate essential phrases. And she also created educational resources to raise awareness about the challenges faced by this community. Moreover, she was honored to represent Turkey at the Generation Unlimited Youth Challenge, where her work gained international recognition. Now studying at Columbia University, Adanur continues her academic success and activism with her studies in a global academic environment. Today, we are thrilled to dive deeper into her story, learn about her motivations, and hear how she plans to continue her academic and activist life. Hi Adanur, how are things going at Columbia?
Hello. Well, it's close to the Thanksgiving right now, and also we are after that we will have our finals. So it's kind of a little hectic time, but I really enjoy my time here. And I just came out from my class, which is Essential Humanities, where we read ancient texts and talk about it and reflect on them, which is a really lovely class with most of the time our professor bringing some candies, donuts to us.
Well, thanks for your answer. And again, we are glad to have you here today. So let's move on to the questions. You have managed to balance academics and activism from a young age in high school. How did you prioritize your time when working on significant projects like RISE? And what advice would you give to students juggling multiple commitments?
Hmm. I will say take one at a time. So the case here is that you want to be successful in everything you do, but you can be successful if you are trying to do everything at the same time when you are also on a short time. So you have to plan ahead and you have to take care of one thing at a time. Maybe what I did was like I always like every day I spent time on my project and also my academics. So I never spent a day without studying or without focusing on my projects. But I also never procrastinated on the things I did. So if you don't procrastinate and if you take like if you plan ahead, if you don't procrastinate and if you take everything at one at a time, I think you will be successful. So most of the time, the thing that students are struggling the most is like procrastinating, and then when everything like comes together and everything feels like suffocating, that's the biggest problem I would say. Just take one at a time and plan ahead. All the time, just plan.
Well, thank you for the answer. And I would like to say we are all inspired by your work with the hearing impaired community. What incentivized you to create an app to help them? Can you clarify the decision stage of your work for the hearing impaired community?
It's mostly came because I'm from southeastern Turkey. I live in a Muslim Kurdish city, but we have actually not many people know, but we actually have a huge hearing impaired population, even though we don't have a we don't have a hearing aids, like affordable hearing aids, and also a one Kurdish sign language. And most of the people who are struggling with hearing impairment are old people who don't know Turkish. So this leads to them like being kind of like a secluded from the society. They feel discriminated, secluded, and not heard of. So it was just mostly started with me observing what is going around of me. So like obviously I am working with hearing impaired community. So I had to maybe search online. I had to like see some data. I had to like to talk with the hearing impaired middle school in Diyarbakır in our city there. So it's always like first have to talk with people who are getting affected by it, and you have to do your own research, and you have to always like have that open eyes because you don't even realize like sometimes the smallest things that can lead to like this the smallest observation can lead you like can allow you to see the bigger picture. So this was what happened with me. I just like was curious about if there is no Kurdish sign language, how are people are communicating, which led me to which led me to talk with Paul and talk to Diyarbakır Hearing Impaired School, which they later told me a couple of problems, like how the hearing aids are unaffordable. After that, I called Diyarbakır's most selling like hearing aid store, which is Maxton Diyarbakır. Then they told me their own perspective of like working with like hearing impaired patients. Then I talked with like a doctor in state hospital. So this was all a progress. Like it all started with just observing and being curious. Like being curious is the most important thing in this.
Right, so as we all know, feedbacks really matter when it comes to developing ideas. What was the most surprising or impactful feedback you received during your RISE project or other projects? And how did it help refine or expand your ideas?
Hmm. I will say the feedback it was like when we were into our project is so if for people who don't know, our project was developing a digital dictionary which is both available on app and website. But when I was working on it, the feedback I received was like I had to make it more user friendly for hearing impaired because it had to be like faster and easier to navigate, which was not something that I first like took on. I didn't like to like took it for account. So when I received this feedback from the hearing impaired schools head, and we worked on that. I think we spent like a week on that, like changing the layout of the website and app. Also like maybe changing the font size, maybe fonts, and also about maybe like changing the background, things like that. Yeah, so this was it. So just we didn't like publish website or app like as soon as it was or it was finished and we told like it is over because we first like send it to people who are more let's say like who knows them, who knows this things better because like hearing impaired schools had like the director of hearing impaired school is has been working with hearing impaired kids for years. He obviously would know like what is best for them, or the store like here like Maxton Diyarbakır, the hearing aid stores like workers have been there for years. So before like showed it to them and got their feedbacks before like publishing the last like the final product.
All right, so thanks for the answer. And I would like to say, many students feel overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed in global competitions or get into global universities in other ways and regards. How did you handle the stress for this process, and what strategies helped you maintain your focus and mental well-being?
Hmm. I mean, it's been like a year since I applied, so it feels like a really long, it was like a longer time ago. But I think what they have to do is like again, it goes back to my first like answer to the first question, which is taking one thing at a time. Because when you procrastinate or when you like don't really plan ahead, or when you say, "Oh, I will handle this later," which most of the time doesn't work like that. It's like everything piles up. When everything piles up, you feel like suffocated and you feel really stressed, and you feel like, "Oh my God, I can finish this, and if I can do this." I want to succeed, and obviously getting into this schools like at Columbia is harder for international students because the competition is harder for international students. They have less seats, and there are like so many factors playing into like people like international students' financial status because most of them are actually in need. Most of them did like really big like competitions in their hometown. So the bar for getting into these universities are harder for international students. But if you take like everything one at a time, and if you for like global competitions, if you always like seek help. So in this like one thing that we do a lot in Colombia that we are always in touch with our advisor. So it'd be like our career advisor or academic advisor or like or professors like when we go to their office are or teaching assistants like TAs. We always like try to be in touch with them. We always like try to talk with them and like get to know each other like better because when you seek help, when I mean in the seek help, like when you like seek guidance, you are not alone. So you're always like you don't have to handle the pressure by yourself. And these people are like your counselors. They are trained in this. They are trained to like help you, and they are trained to like advise you on your like well-being and advise you on how to succeed academically. So academic and also like things like global competition. So always like try to talk with your always like try to talk with your like elder like or seniors like who already like me or others like who already graduated from high school like or already in college or like counselor or if you have another mentor from another program. And the last thing about well-being, mental well-being, I will say like don't ever confine yourself to studying. Like always have like any other interest or any other hobby. Because if you only study, you will lose sight of yourself. Like you always said, if you always do competition, you need like a small hobby that will like make you like excited, will make you feel more relaxed.
So, well, how did you use time management techniques during your SAT or AP exam prep to ensure you didn't waste time on less important
Mhm.
areas? Like, why giving extra attention to challenging ones? Because as all students know, it's really hard to, like, let's say, diversify your time for the exams, and you really need to when to study for the SATs or the APs, etc. So, how did you exactly manage or, let's say, diversify this team for yourself so to be more efficient in this process?
To be honest, I took my SAT in June and August, and also later in October. I used my like August score obviously, but when it was in August, like in June and August, I was able to study because I didn't have any more commitment. Well, I was writing my pioneer paper during August one, but it was like not really like close deadline. So I know like because this like this task like that which I am not really fan of for and I'm like I always like criticize them still, but they take time to study for like it's like a new thing like but you have to study for it and you have to see like every question out there and you have like consume those questions. You have to like maybe start like even though it's your second time taking it, you have to like start from the very beginning to learn subjects. And we always say that you will score better in your second term because in the second time, because in the first time you just like learn the exam and the second time you score better, which was the case for me. So I would say for this exam like take like need like a short time of preparing but short, but you have like spend most of your time on them. I would say if I were like other students, I would try to take them in June or August, like when you don't have like any much like commitment, so that you can focus on them most. But if in any case, if you like get pushed to October, which is like also around the time like you are preparing your early application, so it's not the best time for that. I would still say that like I would still say that like if it's the case, just like learn subjects before. So like learn the subjects before and always like study and always like maybe for like SATs English section, always have a cheat sheet. I always like read it from like the words, like the vocabularies. And also for math section, always just the math section itself is not hard, but always just study. So most of the time for SAT, the thing I can say is like try to take it like before and not like push it to last moment. Like, oh, it's like don't say like, oh, it's October, I don't have my SAT score because most of the schools are turning into SAT like uh SAT required, and even those who say SAT optional, like that's optional, are not actually fully optional at this point. They so always like don't push it to last moment and like try to like finish it, be done with it earlier so that you will be able to score better and you will be able to like focus on the other things, other commitments better.
All right, so when you were applying to universities, how did you approach the personal statement or the application essay? What were the specific steps you took to make your application stand out among all the others that are being submitted to the universities? Because at the end of the day, the most important thing out of your high school applications and your university applications is the fact that you need to be standing out and like showing a diverse application to be getting accepted into those places and universities.
Mhm.
What should students do to, let's say, make their application stand out?
There is no direct formula for that because I have like I mean my friends here we're all different, very different people. Like we all have very different like I'm sure like personal statements we wrote, even though like you don't really read like when you come here, like you don't really like at this point like read it. You but still what I just like my personal statement was something that actually was about like only Adanur Nas can write it. So that's the point. Only I can write that essay. No one can write it, no one can like articulate those words. And also the same goes for my like supplemental essays. So supplemental essays for like college because they ask like things like why us, why you, like why should we like select you? Why do you want to come here and study? Like why should we accept you? Well, like maybe in the case of Colombia, like there's schools like some schools like have like kind of like a weird response. Like in the case of like Colombia, there is this the first question is like they ask for you to like let's say intellectual media you consume, which is something they do because in Colombia's like kind of personality or like in Brown. They ask like about open curriculum and they ask like some other small questions like define yourself in 3 words. So what happens is that these schools all have their each personality. Even though we say like the education are the same level in all every school, they have their own personality. So it all comes to understanding why Colombia is asking about intellectual media you consume. Oh, because Colombia personality, student body mostly like is about that, and also like there are like classes like core curriculum, literature, humanity, or Western contemporary civilizations, or like other classes like universal writing, global core. So it's all depends on understanding the school. When you can show the admission counselor who the one who first reads that doesn't even spend like 5 minutes on that for like an 18 pages application. They just like read and they just like you have to like stand out between that 5 minutes of their reading so that they won't like push you aside and they will be like, oh, this student is interesting. And most of the time they do is that you need to show them like you did your research, you really know that like you want them. And when you did your research, when you search online, when you maybe watch like YouTube blogs, like maybe students are here, maybe you can like YouTube vlogs, maybe you can hear like if something about Colombia excites you. So something that was exciting me was like the libraries at Columbia, the Butler Library. So I searched for that and there were so many information about that. So I just like read and I just like articulate like what I wanted to express. And this also comes to like most of the supplemental questions and supplemental essays always complement the personal statement at the end. So they all like draw the bigger picture, the full picture of who you are as an applicant. So I would say like personal statement should be really, really personal. Like it's like something that only you can write it. No one can articulate those words. Only you can write it. And this is something that's like your story about like that's your story. And for supplemental, you have to really show like you know what they're asking for. Another thing is like the important things like honor section or activities section. Other than that, I think most of the schools like don't don't put too much weight on like majors because everyone changes their majors. Even though like the majors like should align with like what you put in the essays, like why major essays or like why like the activities part. And also like you have to utilize the activities section, which you can always use like the online resources. There are so many online resources from like places like collegeessayguide.com where they have like the list of words that you can use. You have to like maybe maybe shorten the words. So it all depends on like the art of like it's a shock, but there's like an art of like preparing the activities list, which you can like get help on online. So always utilize your resources too, because we all did and we all succeeded. So that's like everyone like what everyone is doing.
All right, so, well, here comes another question. How do you balance your activist work with your studies at Columbia? Do you feel that one complements or prevents the other in shaping your academic or professional growth? Or how do you exactly let's say, create that specific lining between the activist work and the studying place. Because it's really tough for some students or some people to actually find the real places, the right times to do their activist work or their studying time. So, how did you exactly manage to balance these two factors and eventually acquire some sort of success in this regard?
When I first came Colombia, I took a break, like a break from like activism, because it was a transition moment for me to from college, especially after like in the first 2 weeks, like maybe even in the first month, you struggle a lot in college because you don't know the assign like I don't know how to read those all those like, assignments. You don't know how to handle the homework, and you start like having exams as soon as like in maybe in like 3 weeks. I had mine in the first 2 weeks. My first assignment like exam which counted towards my GPA. So then after I realized that like I was like at a place where I can handle the college coursework, the college workload, I started the I started to I started to like doing activism again. Like I started like a little bit because again it's like my maybe my well, this is like something I always say again, but like you have to like take one thing at a time. Since I was like still like start to try get used to the college workload. I didn't want to overwhelm myself more because I was already overwhelmed a lot. So that when I felt like okay, I can focus now and I can focus better on my activist work, I focused and I got better results because now I could like handle more things like a couple of things at the same time. And I always utilize Colombia's resources because these colleges are rules like best colleges. There's universities, they the amount of like resources they have and the amount of resources like New York City has is actually crazy. Like you have to utilize them. You have to just like maybe go to your web like Google, just type like Columbia University, like resource, like the type of resource you want. You will always find it. And you are, since you're a student here, you can like get access to like many things in the city as well. And there are so many like the most successful like the most known, let's say not successful, the most known hearing impairment like awareness like organizations are in like based in New York because like all the most known ones. So or so like you can like always connect them. You can always like maybe shout an email and say them, hey, I am a student in Columbia University and this is what I did. Like, can I talk with you? And they will always be so happy to talk with you. So it's all about like prioritizing what you want to do and like how you can like handle stress. And after that, it's all about utilizing the resource that university gives because the resources are like unimaginable at like an unimaginable level here.
All right, so I actually have a final question right now. Columbia University is located in the heart of Manhattan. How has being in such a vibrant, fast-paced environment impacted your overall student experience? And well, what have been some unexpected aspects of city life that have added to your college journey? Did you exactly have any fun moments there, or did you really see things that you did not see back in the places that you came from? What were the unique experiences or the tastes that you have acquired from being in such a diverse and combust place?
Mhm. Well, I am actually a city girl as well. I mean, I was raised in the city as well. So I think that was one of the reasons why I chose like being, I just chose to be in Columbia University because I didn't want to be in a rural area since this was not something this was not how I live. And then I was like having a couple of like worries about coming here because this is New York City, the world's most vibrant city. It's never quiet, it never dies down. There's always some fire, like the sirens. You are going to hear them all the time, like all the time at any hour. And what I love about Colombia and how you can handle New York City best is like Colombia has its own campus, like the campus like BTK, so it's an open campus in that sense because it's in the city. And it's like it's like Colombia itself is like its own city inside, like where you are away from everything that's going around in the city. And you when you just take one step away, like one step like ahead, like Broadway, which is like where the main gates are located for Colombia. You are in the city, so it's like you're all it's like you have your own city inside Columbia University, like the campus, and then you take one step and you are in the New York City, and everything is connected so well. So everything is connected so well. Most of the time we use the subway, which is and Columbia University has its own station, so we always use the subway one, the line one. The line names is one. They just name it like that here. Like then it's connected everywhere. Like you just take the one line one, and in 15 minutes you are at Times Square, which is City 42. Like if you go, like you are at Penn Station, and you can always like take like transfer free transfers. You can go to everywhere in the city thanks to that, like the Brooklyn, the Coney Island, and the opportunities are so good because of that. And it's just there is such a vibrant life in Colombia in New York City because of that. You experience two things. It's like you are a student in Columbia University and you are studying in New York City. And one funny thing would be there are sometimes a lot the New York's like subways still like me and my friend was coming back to Colombia. We were on the line one coming to Colombia, and out of a sudden the train started like passing our station, which is a station 116th Street. It started passing our station and it didn't stop until 145, I guess. So we were so ahead, and then it turned out to be like that out of a sudden New York City, like the MTA, which is like the one like that take care, so like the subway lines and public transportation here decided to turn it to express, which is like faster than local lines, which express is like really fast and it only stops in a couple of stations. And they didn't say anything. It turns out that the day when they say that the one in our wagon like broke down the speaker. So it was not the best experience. It was 11 p.m. So we had to take an Uber to go back to campus. But other than that, there are like things like that that happen. So you always have to like keep an eye on like what's going on. New York City is kind of a random city. But other than that, it's just New York itself. It's an amazing experience because you are in that New York City, which is amazing in every sense.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Adanur. We truly appreciate your insight and we are confident that your words will inspire many ambitious students. Thanks for watching, dear viewers, and as always, it was Hefsel Times.